The Alabama Senate race was a hard-fought battle, and Doug Jones' defeat of Judge Roy Moore exposed not just a political schism, but a religious divide as well. Hello and welcome to A Spirited Debate. I'm Lauren Green. According to polls, 80% of white evangelicals voted for Roy Moore, despite his having sexual misconduct allegations against him from 4 women when he was in his 30s and they were teenagers at the time. The controversy probably handed Jones the win and gave the state its first Senate win by a Democrat in 25 years. Moore was the man who fought hard for conservative religious values. So does politics trump religion, or does religion trump politics? And I mean the verb, not the noun. Here to debate is Dr. Alex McFarland, Director of Christian Worldview at North Greenville University, and Ellen Ratner, Bureau Chief of Talk Media News. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Hi. Good to be with you.
Alex, let me start with you. So Judge Moore called this a battle against good, against evil, and Christians versus everyone else. What do you say to that?
Well, you know, it's unfortunate that the candidate had those accusations, and, I think there's a lot that we could say, but I think Christians were willing to vote for a person with those allegations, and, we have the principle of innocent until proven guilty, and there's question about his accusers. But the question that I'm getting is, why would Christians vote for a man with this apparent or ostensible baggage? And it's because I think evangelicals and conservatives are very concerned about the political direction of our country. We care about things like immigration, taxation, the future and the preservation of the Constitution, foreign policy, national security. And I wouldn't take the 8 out of 10 evangelicals voting as an endorsement of the candidate, but as concern for the issues that are at play here.
All right, Ellen, what is your take?
Well, my take is that Democrats are celebrating, and I'm a loony lefty, as you know, but I don't think they should be celebrating. First of all, Democrats should have won this race by 10 points, not by 1 or 1.5 points. And so I'm very, very concerned about this because the Democrats are touting this as a great win. Well, it isn't a great win. They should have won by many more points, and they didn't. And I agree with Dr. McFarland that I'm concerned about the same things. We just have 2 different views. I'm concerned about taxes. I'm concerned about immigration. I'm concerned about those issues, but I have a very different viewpoint than he does.
Alex, the question is really, why so many evangelicals supported Moore? I mean, and the follow-up question to that, has politics become too much of what they would call an idol?
That is a great question, and I would think maybe for some that there's a lot of emphasis on what we can do if we get the right people elected. We'll have, a godly, righteous society. But for most Christians, and I'm very privileged to interact with a lot of people from all over the USA, all denominations, I mean, we understand that our hope is in God, our trust is in the Lord. But it's like Augustine said. Augustine, by the way, lived 354 to 430. He wrote City of God. We have 1 foot in the city of God, but 1 foot in the city of man. And even though we know our home is in heaven, our hope is in Christ, we have a responsibility to be a force for good in this world. And it's not so much that we trust D.C. to solve all our problems, but I think most Christians are earnestly trying to be the moral voice, the salt and the light, that what we've had for 241 years, this great America, can be preserved for 2 more centuries, God willing.
All right, Ellen, 76% of people who do not identify as evangelical Christian voted for Doug Jones. Does this show a huge religious divide in Alabama and perhaps even the country?
Well, first, there is a religious divide. There's no question about that. But, everybody's focused on the sexual issues with Roy Moore. However, there's some other issues, like him putting the 10 Commandments against a federal judge's order in the lobby of his courtroom. I used to work in abuse when I was in mental health, and I got to tell you, when you say honor thy father and mother in the 10 Commandments and you're suing your parent because perhaps they abused you, I think that's a very big problem. So I think it's one thing to say, well, we're all Christian religious, but it's another thing when you really dig down deeper as to what that really means.
All right. And Alex, you want to follow up with that?
Well, we have to remember that religion and morality are 2 different things. And we definitely believe in a plurality of freedom to express one's religious viewpoint, but that's become construed to mean that we have to abolish the recognition of morality. And Roy Moore, as I understand it, he was so public about his support for the Ten Commandments because he knew, and I agree, that our Constitution really means nothing unless there are some moral absolutes that we recognize and uphold. So many people today, and especially young people, they believe that freedom of religion means we can't acknowledge the Ten Commandments. And that really endangers the health of our Constitution.
All right. I want to thank you so much, Alex and Ellen, for being here on A Spirited Debate.
Merry Christmas,
Thank you.
both of you.
Thank you. And also check out my podcast, Lighthouse Faith, Moving Forward in Truth and Love. I'm Lauren Green, and thanks for watching.